Alright, let us start our second hour, the trading technique hour. Trading techniques, day 2, and let us start. Today's trading technique is RSI, mean reversion technique. It is one of my favorites, and I really hope that you will find it as useful as I do, because I use it a lot of the time. First of all, let's talk a little bit about the RSI. What is the RSI? The RSI, of course, this is short for Relative Strength Index. It is an indicator, oscillator, that measures the relative internal strength of a trading instrument against itself. This is the definition given by my favorite author, Martin J. Pring, in one of his books. The researcher who came up with this indicator is J. Willis Wilder Jr., and he presented it with other indicators and trading methods in his book New Concepts in Technical Trading Systems, which was published in 1978. The formula to calculate the RSI is RSI equals to 100 minus 100 divided by 1 plus RS. RS is, of course, relative strength. What is the relative strength? It is calculated this way. RS is or equals to average of the up closing prices of n periods. Of course, the n period is the number of periods that the RSI will be calculated to. Mr. Wilder himself preferred the number 14, but of course other people use other numbers. So the relative strength is calculated by dividing the average of the up closing prices of n periods, let's say 14 periods, by the average of the down closing prices of the 14 periods as well. Of course, we do not need to care about the formula, because now we have computers and we have programs that illustrate the RSI curve on the charts without the need to calculate anything. We are lucky. You have to know this. We are lucky because we live in a time that trading is so easy compared to the previous legendary traders who used to draw the chart on paper, like Dow, for example, or Elliott, or Livermore, or all these legends that lived 100 years or little more, little less than that. They used to build their charts on paper and wait for the market data and then place that on paper on a daily basis and see where the chart is going. We are so lucky that we have this kind of technology at our command. So we do not, let me go back to the previous slide. We do not have to care about this formula. We do not have to calculate anything. It's calculated right there in front of us. Just make the right decision about your trading. This is what you need to do. Okay. Let's talk a little bit further about this indicator. It oscillates between 0 and 100. It cannot go below 0 and cannot go above 100. And to tell the truth, I have never seen it at 100 or 0. You know, it comes close to that. Maybe I've seen something like 7 or 6, the lowest thing I've seen, and I cannot remember how much the highest I've seen, maybe 96, something like that. The n periods, as I just said, is 14. And here I want to say something. Mr. Wilder said it's 14 because he believed in a moon cycle, or at least that's what sources say, he said. We cannot be 100% sure. And 14 days is half of the moon cycle. But when you go to a 14-day period, you only have 10 trading days in 2 weeks, and not 14. So why use the 14 instead of the 10, for example? No one dared to ask that question to Mr. Wilder. Okay, I highly recommend that you use the area borders that are of the same distance from the extremes. What does this mean? We'll see in point number 2. When we are using the 14 period, we should use the overbought and oversold areas, just like Mr. Wilder advised, and that is, it is overbought above 70 and oversold below 30. If the RSI is above 70, we can say that the market is overbought. If it's below 30, we can say that the market is oversold. But of course, there are other variations. Some authors say that when you use the RSI for longer periods, you need to push these boundaries closer to the extremes, closer to the 100 and to the 0. So instead of 70, we have 80. Instead of 30, we have 20. Okay, this combination was recommended by Martin Pring. He said that we can calculate the RSI for 65 periods instead of 14, and use the 80 and 20 instead of the 70 and 30. Another variation is the 65-35, and a lot of people use that, especially in relatively calm market or instruments that are not very volatile.